Welcome back to the Mrs. Best Reviews channel. I'm happy to be here. I appreciate all the love in the comments that we have. Let's welcome in our fabulous, fearless co-host, James, from the Watch Your Mouth Reviews channel. Link in description.
Hey.
Hi,
Thank you
James.
for having me. Yes. Hi, Naya. Hi, Shani. Thank you for being here.
We do appreciate you. She's so funny. I'm here on time. I'm early, so I'm not late. Just in case people want to know. Welcome in, Naya. Welcome in, Naya. I'm glad to be here, you guys. We're going to go over the Housewives of Beverly Hills. This episode was titled Land of the Free, Home of the Shade. I actually thought that was a clever title. Y'all know I'm a nerd. I like little titles like that. The more clever and quirky, the happier that I am. But we're going to jump right into this episode because I kind of feel like the Housewives, there was a little more to discuss on this episode. There was stuff actually happening. We started the episode with Garcelle telling Sutton back in Augusta that she and Kyle were overhearing and basically they were spying, sneaking, listening to the conversation that Sutton had with her mom. I actually was okay with this just because I felt like Kyle and Garcelle were the best people Sutton could have brought. Kyle and Sutton have like a toxic thing, but they seem to be there for each other. Personally, I think their income brackets keep them closer than they want to be. And we know that Garcelle is a good friend to Sutton. So I was just happy to see everything end with rhobh positively. So I will leave that there. But I will say rhobh loosened up after talking to Sutton. Even though rhobh was kind of rude to Garcelle, like, you need to mind your business. Why am I talking to you about that? I think that maybe hearing an outside person have the balls to come talk to her about that probably helped her to hear Sutton's feelings more. So I too, Naya, am glad that Garcelle survived Mama rhobh, and I'm glad to not see rhobh on this show no more. DM Rocks, welcome in. Hey, I'm on Team Sutton, Kyle, and Garcelle over Team Dorit and Bose. Honestly, I'll say I'm Team Sutton and Garcelle. Kyle is just floating where she's accepted right now. I can't stand her, but I feel like you agree, James?
No, I agree. I am definitely Team Sutton and Garcelle. Kyle is just floating where the wind blows, where she has an alliance. I can clearly see that. Bose disappointed me this episode.
Yeah.
And I hate that because I love her. I do, but she disappointed me. But we'll get there.
Yeah, I think we all felt a little disappointed. The tumblers of liquor loosened that tongue. Damn. Naya is here, y'all. I cannot.
Girl, I'm gonna drop my laptop on the floor. Naya, you was wrong for that comment.
Loosen the tongue. She called it the tumblers. She said, I'm usually Team Sutton, but this episode I'm not. Well, I'm excited to get into it so we can learn why. I'm very excited because it's rare we have differences of opinion. So I'm excited to hear why. Now, the ladies go home, but back in Beverly Hills, Bose and her cousin Tina, they meet and discuss her relationship with Keely. I loved her cousin Tina. You could tell that she was like, I'm just here, not for the cameras. I love you, so I'm here. And I like people who have that energy. But we learned that Bose has a tumultuous history of fertility, like extremely tumultuous. So before her first child, she had a pregnancy for another child that was named, it sounds like she was going to name the baby Eva or Eve. And she carried the child to about a little over 6 months. She was diagnosed with preeclampsia, which I believe is a form of gestational diabetes in pregnant women. It got so bad that she ended up delivering early, and unfortunately, the baby did not survive. I respect Bose a tremendous amount for even being able to talk about that without tearing up. I've had 2 miscarriages, and I get sad talking about it. So I can't imagine having to get to like 6 months of pregnancy and go through all of that with your body, your health, your babies, just for the baby not to make it. So I respect you for getting through that, Bose. But then it just sounds like she had another pregnancy and had other issues. So her struggle to fertility has been one that you can tell that she appreciates. Maybe that's why she's extra close to her daughter. But it's interesting that she wants to get pregnant again at 47 years old with a man that she's afraid to say, I love you to. Now, I can't confirm after James said it. I saw on my phone a post of Keely and Bose. I guess they're traveling and all of these things. So they are still together. I hope that they're just riding the wave and not rushing into things. Y'all can afford a surrogate, so utilize that. Just saying. That's how I feel. James, how did you feel about that little moment with Bose and her sister cousin?
Love the sister cousin. I need to see more of her.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm gonna say this. I feel like because we didn't know this history of Bose, this now changes my opinion of her wanting children and getting pregnant again. I feel like if you've already had high risk pregnancies before, I feel like you need to take the blessing that you have of the child and think of an alternative way, as you said, surrogacy, because she's a multimillionaire. She can afford a surrogate. She actually can afford to have three pregnant at the same time and do it that way. Like I'm sorry, I'm not for putting her through all these risks and everything because then I worry about her daughter if
Yeah,
something were to happen. So that's why I'm like, I feel like she's really you going about it the wrong way, especially with a man you have not been with that long. You're doing too much risk and not enough assurance. And I
does
think you
the
need to stay
man,
away.
does Keely even know about your history, Bose? Because how can you say you want to have a baby with someone who doesn't know your medical history as it relates to fertility?
Yeah. I feel like if we didn't know, I feel like that man don't know.
Oh,
Because then
Lord.
I think he would have, because I feel like he would have then put it in perspective of like, okay, how about we do a surrogacy? Like that conversation has never come up. He's just saying, I want, at least a few kids before, I don't have any, so I want some. And I feel like that's the perfect time for her to say, well, I've had a history of very high risk pregnancy, and I, by the grace of God, got my one baby girl. So I don't know if putting my body at this age of my life, putting my body through all of this is really the move we need to make. I think we need to look at alternatives here.
Yeah. It looks like Naya agrees you shouldn't risk her life for a man that you're in like with, not love.
Even if she was
Exactly.
in love with him, I think she still needs to move with caution, even if she was in love. Because I feel like to me, I could never put somebody through that if I knew the history.
Hmm. I think that's
But
an important point to bring up. If I were to have fertility issues that could impact my life, my husband's made it very clear he wouldn't want me to go through that. So I do think that the love thing is very important because if
hmm
someone loves you, they're not going to want you to risk your life just to make another person. Believe it or not, y'all, as quiet as it's kept, you can be in love without the baby.
no, you can
It's possible.
absolutely. And then there's lots of options out there in the world, and not to mention adoption being another one where there's so many kids, especially Black kids, that are in the system
Mhm.
that you can take on, and then you have the resources to aid them in any way they need it. So that's why I'm like, I feel like she needs to really really do some soul searching with this one, because I feel like she's jumping the gun. I really do.
She is, especially with that. But I bring this comment back up because I agree with you, DM Rocks. I didn't want it to go unseen. If Bose doesn't get this shit together with being Dorit's lapdog, and she's more than a lapdog,
She's
okay?
more than a
She's a
lapdog. That's a
watchdog
pit
in the
bull ready
yard.
to attack. Yeah, that's a
Right.
she.
Like,
And I'm not liking that. I'm not.
it's gonna make us not like her. And it's unfortunate because Bose has a storyline with her relationship, her age, her success, her daughter, her life. She has a good storyline. It could be interesting, separate from the drama of just arguing with other housewives. But she chooses to be so far up Dorit's anus that she can't even see the sun. And that stresses me out for her. It does. It just does. It just really does. Let's get the comments before we move on. Shani said, and she said that when she was pregnant with her daughter, that pregnancy was horrific because she was scared of everything. Exactly. But Bose, listen, you can have great success professionally, financially. You can be intellectually successful and intelligent, but that does not give you the ability to have good discernment when it comes to dating. And I think that Bose is a really good example of that. I'm not saying anything negative on Keely. It just seems like he's enjoying her and willing to discuss these things because he knows they're older. But he seems at less of a rush than Bose, which leads me to believe that Bose has her own stuff in her head. DM Rock said, I be seeing that fans think Sutton and Garcelle are being bullies to Dorit on Twitter. Dorit is a white woman on a show that has had a predominantly white cast for many years, which in turn resulted in an audience that also looked like the cast. I can see why people would feel that way. I think this happens across a lot of housewife franchises. If you have a duo that goes strong season after season without beef or error, it seems like after so long of them defending each other, people will have a problem with it. Now, Dorit is getting away with a lot, and we're going to come back to that. But if Dorit was not going through this bullcrap with PK, I don't think fans would feel the exact same reason or way that they feel now. But I think because she's going through this separation and PK don't like her, people are feeling sorry for her, which I don't understand. This man.
No, it's more so people are saying that they're kicking her while she's down. And that's why it's coming across as bullying. And I want people to remember that what Dorit is getting right now is karma.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't really feel like I need to go further than that, because at the end of the day, if y'all saw how Dorit treated Garcelle when she first got here, and also Sutton too.
Yep.
I feel like y'all would really, a lot of people like to start in the middle and go to the end instead of going all the way back to the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm just.
Dorit has treated everyone on this cast horribly. She's been okay with racism. She's spoken negatively about people's children. She has been so far up Kyle's anus. So I don't feel sorry for her. I just don't. It's unfortunate what she's going through with her marriage ending. And I don't wish that on anybody. But at the same time, just because you're going through a bad thing in life doesn't give you the right to get special treatment or to act a fool. People go through separations all the time. You probably work with somebody going through one and you would never even know. So it's what makes her more special than the thousands of other people going through the same thing. That's just my thing. Shani said, I think Sutton is just tired of all the BS. Remember, she's been called to see you next Tuesday so many times while Dorito has sat there and said nothing. Naya said Garcelle is definitely not a bully, but I guess Garcelle and Sutton go hand in hand in the audience eyes, and that's foolish. Yeah, it is. It is. But we'll see what happens. I think Garcelle needs to give a little bit more, take those cameras on location with her. Other than that, I'd still stand firm in my belief that Garcelle could be a great friend of. I don't see the full point anymore of her as a housewife. I just don't. But we're going to keep it moving, you guys. We are going to move on to Dorit. She's having a 4th of July barbecue. Happy Juneteenth, a month earlier, just saying. Before we get to that, she said, can't be nasty and expect karma to treat you well. Kyle and Dorit are learning the hard way. They will, and they are. They definitely are. So she's having this 4th of July barbecue, and I was cracking up because the first to arrive was Sutton. Nobody was there. Dorit is upstairs. Her house is unlocked, which was very strange. Where's that PTSD, miss? I had a home break-in.
I'm telling you,
your door open and unlocked with your baby's home. I don't care how many people was in that house. That's the same house that got robbed, right, James?
That it was
so strange. I don't understand. My building, you can't even get in my apartment building. They got tech and all of that, but I don't leave my door unlocked, and you can't even get up here in the elevator without the key fob. So it's okay, Dorit. That's why I say Dorit be full of it. She is full of it. But Sutton's there, and she's waiting and waiting. She's not greeted. You could tell Sutton already was in a mood about having to be there because she is not fooling with Dorit. But she's waiting. Took 39 minutes for Dorit to come down to where Kyle shows up, which is funny because Kyle and Sutton are the two people Dorit is not in the best place with. And Dorit finally comes down, talks to Kyle, doesn't really acknowledge Sutton. And then Dorit pulled something that if anybody Black on this cast would have pulled, they would have been called broke, desperate, uncouth. She snatches Sutton's bag because she thinks it's cute and refuses to give it back to her, talking about it's owed to her based on Sutton's behavior. Bitch, if you don't give me back my bag so I can get the hell about your house that was supposedly robbed.
When I tell you she would have got popped in her forehead.
Talk about she owed it to
Well,
her.
yeah, like, wait a minute, hold on. First of all, not only were you not ready when I got here and had me waiting on you to come downstairs, then you gonna snatch my. Ooh. And y'all talk about Sutton was the issue. A lot of people think Sutton was the issue, and I'm like, um, where
Sutton
can y'all do
came
that at?
in with the attitude, but Sutton was not the issue. Sutton was gonna sit there like a true little Southern belle, be polite, fulfill her obligation with filming, and then leave. That's what Sutton was gonna do. I don't feel like Dorit ever gives people the opportunity to just be, but to think that because someone who you've been disrespectful to time and time again, to think that they owe you something just because they at your house, because they said something about you, when Kyle is the one actually talking to your ex-work, but Sutton owes you something for her treatment of you, bitch, go snatch one of Kyle's Birkins. I mean, I can't. I just can't. She said, I agree. Dorito tried it, and Sutton Mama loves me. I don't need this. I
Mm.
cannot. I just cannot. I cannot. But eventually, the bag does come back to Sutton. It was just an awkward moment from Dorit. I couldn't tell if she was joking or not, which made it that much worse. It really irked my soul. But Garcelle comes in next and she asks Sutton what she's drinking. And Sutton is like, oh, a watermelon thing. And Garcelle's like, oh, is there alcohol in it? Because it looked like a smoothie. When I was looking at it, it looked like a smoothie of some sort. So it
Or a
wasn't,
daiquiri or something. That's what I thought it was.
yeah, like something blended with probably not a lot of alcohol or little
Hmm.
alcohol. So I can understand why Garcelle was asking those questions. And it was just very, very strange because Sutton was fine, but then Dorit tries to point out that Sutton was not upset at the fact that she was asked if there was alcohol in the drink, which was shady. So to remind everybody, in the previous season, Dorit and Kyle, but especially Dorit, were trying to push the narrative that Sutton was an alcoholic because of the name situation, as well as some other situations where Sutton was like, I'm not taking y'all shit, and stood up for herself. So this was talked about at the reunion. Sutton reminds us that Dorit never actually apologized. She tried to explain it, but Dorit basically tried to push a very negative narrative on Sutton based on alcohol. So to bring that up, like, oh, you don't have a problem with it here. Of course, bitch, she don't have a problem with it now. Garcelle was asking because she wanted the drink with alcohol. You were making comments about Sutton's drinking when Sutton was not around to everybody else in the group on camera with a negative connotation. This is not what Garcelle was doing. So the fact that Dorit even tried to compare the two to me was drama. And I think if a lot of people paid more attention to that, then they might side with Sutton compared to Dorit, because that was a cruel thing to do, in my opinion. So Sutton tells Dorit, shut up, Dorit. You're such a bitch. I said, oh, damn. She told her to shut the hell up and called her a bitch, and in that order. And this is where Dorita's like, that's not nice. And Sutton's like, well, you never apologized, and your behavior of me was not nice. So they get into it, and then Sutton ends up saying she's sick of fighting with Dorit. She gets up to leave, and Dorita's upset because Garcelle and Kyle ran after Sutton, and everybody just kind of left Dorit there. And it's like, Dorit, you always seem to pay attention to, oh, I was forgotten, but you don't never want to pay attention to why. Do you feel like you owe these women anything? Do you feel like they owe you something? If they got upset and walked off, would you run after them? You didn't years ago. You didn't season after season. Now you're mad because nobody's running after you when you were so cold to all of these people for Kyle, who's now no longer your good friend. No, we don't feel sorry for you. So, Hot Mess Express. Sutton's upset. She feels it was shade. She's trying to leave. And Bozoma and a whole entourage came in. I said, who are all these people with bows at this event? Because Bose has one kid who's 17 or something. So I'm like, who are all these people, Bose? But Bose shows up with the whole entourage, and I was cracking up because Sutton was like, no one's commenting on that nasty ass watermelon drink. I said, oh Lord. But before we move further into the party, because there was a lot that happened there, I want to get James's opinion, and then I'll go over the comments of what happened leading up to Bazoma's arrival at this event. How did you feel about all of that? Because it was all a mess to me.
It was a mess, but I feel like I would have just left. Like I would have left after the bag thing because you're not
Mhm.
going to play in my face at your house and think that I'm supposed to just conform because we're in your quarters. I would have just left. Like I wouldn't even have even entertained her even beyond them sitting and and them questioning drinking and everything because Garcelle asked if there was alcohol in the beverage. Y'all knew what she was doing. And
Mhm.
I would even have gave her the satisfaction. I'd have told production I'm leaving because I'm not going to play with her. I'm just not going to do it because you see what she's trying to do. She's trying to make me out a problem child in her own home, and then when I get nasty and call her a bitch, now she want to be all up in roars that I said it when that's how she's acting. So no, I'm sorry. I would have left. That's
And
how
I
I
don't
feel.
feel sorry for Dorit either getting called a bitch in her own phone because she called Camille Grammer a see you next Tuesday in her home. So which one's worse? Clear women, because they seem to hate that see you next Tuesday word.
Well, according to Erica, what was it again at that reunion? They said what was worse saying? Oh, saying you're crazy is worse than see you next Tuesday.
Whatever the hell, Dorit is the pot calling the kettle, is what I'm trying to say. Because we have watched Dorit season after season. This was a main complaint about LVP that Dorit did not like. I love PK, but his wife doesn't always know how to act. Go back and watch those first season when we met PK and Dorit. LVP had been told us something. And then if you watch every season since meeting Dorit and PK, Dorit has acted a fool, called someone out their name, or been disrespectful in someone's home. Not vacation rental, not on cash trips, but in their actual home. So now that it's happening to her, she wants people to feel sorry for her. Girl, bye. Goodbye. Doesn't make any sense. Uh, let me go over the comments. Shanny says she was not joking. She wanted that bag. I believe she really wanted that bag. I
Hmm.
believe she wanted the bag. Dorito's mother was much nicer to Sutton than she was. Well, yeah, Dorit's parents, her mama, she asked, Mom, this is a beautiful arrangement of food. Where'd you get it? I went to Costco. They did it. Her mama real as hell. Dorit be putting on the facade.
She do, and
Naya
that worked
said,
too.
huh?
Go ahead, Nose.
Naya said, I didn't take it as shade, though. I thought Dorito was pissed that it wasn't a big deal coming from Garcelle. She shouldn't have said anything, though.
Mm.
Eh, it was definitely shade.
It was shade.
Dorito
Yeah, I'm
was
sorry. That was
shade.
shade. It was
That's why the
definitely.
episode's called Land of the Free, Home of the Shade.
Yeah, because that was definitely shade.
It was shade. It was definitely shade. Dorit, if you're going to be this new, I'm going to speak my mind, Dorit, I need you to shut the fuck up, put your cigarette out, and listen when others speak. And I need you to actually like stand on business, as people would say. Like, if you threw shade, throw the shade. Because you and Sutton have had a back and forth, and she does have a reason to feel offended at Sutton. But don't throw the rock and then hide your hand and act confused as to why someone's hurt. Like, don't do that. That doesn't make sense to me. Um, Shani says I would have left before she came downstairs. I'm not waiting no 40 minutes to be greeted. Preach.
I
That's
mean,
the Gemini.
she could have did a simple yell from upstairs. Hey, Southern girl, I'm getting ready. Give me like 10 more minutes. That's all she had to do.
Because I know she heard, especially at the end of this episode, we saw how empty it was upstairs in that house. I know there was an echo and the voice could have carried. Just
Exactly.
saying. Just
Yeah.
saying. Nye agreed says Dorit was bitchy, but Sutton overreacted. I agreed with Bose. Either come back or leave. The white woman tears at the doors is too much. Stop hugging her and let the witch woman go because she's causing a scene.
Um.
That part I do agree with. Sutton did overreact. It did seem like she came to the event charged up. However, I'm not just going to be standing outside, which y'all got to understand about California. It may have looked like that street was leveled, but do we live in the hills?
Yeah.
I wouldn't have stood outside in 94-degree weather. No, I'm going to sit here
and
in the
wait
air
for my car.
conditioning space of the home that I have not been put out of yet that I am trying to leave while waiting on my Uber.
Yeah. And I didn't agree with Bose just because of the chapter she walked in on. It wasn't like she was here from the beginning. So I think she was
Mhm.
judging it from a very biased place on how she personally feels about Sutton. So I didn't agree with her at all.
Yeah. Now, Shanny said Naya's son was leaving early. She was at the front door waiting for the car to come pick her up.
Yeah.
It did look like that. A lot of people were following her. I do think that if it was, let's say it was Kyle compared to Sutton crying, no one would run after Sutton, even if Sutton was right. They would go after Kyle. So I think in this situation, with Dorit being the person who's into it with Sutton, I think it makes sense for people to choose to go after Sutton because these bitches do not like Dorit, even prior to Sutton's existence.
Yeah.
They just have it. Um, DM Rock said LVP is not the greatest person right now. She's defending James from Vanderpump Rule, who abused his girlfriend. I saw, and LVP will always defend James. We have to remember she knows the family. It's not the smartest thing to do. I wish she'd just stay quiet, especially because the Vanderpump Rules cast is not coming back. So Vanderpump Rules may be back from what I've heard, but they're trying to get a whole new cast of other people still working at SIR. I'm a huge VPR fan, just for those who don't know. I don't cover Vanderpump Rules because I love the show so much, and sometimes doing YouTube takes the fun out of it. But yeah, she's not the greatest person right now. But
I don't like her anyway. So yeah, she was never the greatest person to me.
people always mad at LVP for something, and they'll stay mad at her. But it seems like she just carries on and doesn't care,
Yeah,
honestly.
which is a good way to be. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
it's
a
a
good way to
very good
be.
way to be.
Yeah,
Keeps you
absolutely.
keeps you relevant. But no, I agree. That's a good point. Air conditioning is a must. It was because y'all remember earlier in the episode, Kyle said, "Hey Siri, what's the temperature like today?" And Siri told her, "That's why we be getting them fires in California. You get hot as hell and there's no humidity, so it's just eat the burn.
Yep.
Just eat the burn." Um, she said, "Is Lisa male identified? She never sides with women." I thought we knew. We talked. We
We
probably haven't
talked about
talked
that.
about
Yes,
this,
she is
but
very
she
much
is.
male identified. Absolutely. Yes, that's the problem.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's actually, listen, I love LVP. I loved her on this show because of her ability to read these women. But I think that her ability to read these women did come from her being and identifying better with men. I mean, we have to remember Dorit is only on this show because PK came on as a friend of to Kyle, or not to Kyle, to
To
Lisa.
Lisa, yeah.
And PK was married to Dorit. No one cared about her. So it makes sense if we even look like, what was the other guy? Muhammad. Uh,
Hmm.
Lisa always had male friends more than she had female friends. And even on Vanderpump Rules, it's very rare that we see Lisa with female friends. We see her with her business partners, which are mostly men. And that one lady that worked for her that Kristen told to shut the F up seasons ago that got her fired. But other than that, Lisa don't fool with them people. I can't blame her. Let's get into the rest of this foolery. So Sutton's commenting on the nasty ass watermelon drink. And this is where Kyle tries to talk with Dorit and to like, hey, why don't you come talk to her to stop her from leaving? And Dorit was like, you want me to come talk to the person who called me a bitch in my own house? I ain't gonna beg her to stay. I don't like Dorit, but I agreed with that. You just called me out my name in my house. Now, yes, she threw shade. Sutton could have threw shade back, not stormed out, threw a fit, and left. I do agree with that. But I wholeheartedly felt Dorit. I'm not begging nobody to stay at my house who done called me out my name, not just at my house, but while my kids is playing across the pool in the little jumper thingy. No. So I did feel that part. I don't know how you felt about it. I was like, why is Kyle even trying to get her to talk to Sutton? Just let it be.
I feel like just let her leave. I don't understand why y'all want her to stay. Like she clearly does not feel welcomed. She's uncomfortable. Let her leave. I don't understand what the problem is. Like I don't need Dorit to go over there and make it a condescending thing and then, make Sutton out to be the bad guy. I don't have time or the capacity to watch that. So just let her leave. She'll be fine.
I'm cracking up at the comments. What? Yes, Lisa never messed with female staff. She didn't. She gave them a really hard time. The only one that she was kind of forgiving with was Stassi, and that's because she was her daughter's best friend or one of them. And that's really it. All of them at one point have been held accountable, but she has a soft spot for Stassi and Sheena. I will say that. What else we got here? What was that male gigolo's name? The one that was living with her the first 2 seasons, and Lisa wound up kicking him out because he did her and Ken dirty. I know who you're talking about. That blonde man who used to work in her house. I think he was her house manager. I can't remember his name, but she ain't spoke to him since. They never spoke to dude again. Like Lisa Vanderpump, when she cuts you off, you're really done. Because she never came back to him. Even at the reunion after that first season, she didn't have much to say. What was the name of that dude that was living? Oh, I don't remember that. What his name? Let's see. Shani, I know his name. Damn, and he was fine too. Katie and Stassi are my favorites. I like Stassi. I question her. She's always in some like saying things that are like racially insensitive, but honestly, the whole Vanderpump Rules cast has. But I did like Stassi on the show because she really knew how to read somebody. When she was beefing with Sheena, and Sheena came up to the table when she was sitting with Lisa, and she's like, "No, you can't help me with anything, but you can go get me a Pinot Grigio." I said, "Oh, okay." She said, "Serve me, bitch." I like Stassi. I wish that she would just learn, educate herself a little more in the Black community. But Tamron Hall read Stassi for filth while she was pregnant. So I was like, okay. And I do like Ariana as well. I've always liked Ariana, always. She said, yes, when Lisa is done with you, she's done. She cut Dorito and her family off real quick over a dog. What? Why you say it like that? Why you say it like that? Katie irks me though, y'all. Katie is a beautiful girl. She's one of those people who's beautiful on the outside but very ugly on the inside. She needs a lot of help, personally. I think Katie needs to step away from Vanderpump Rules, which we know that she'll be doing. Whitney, welcome in. I don't know that I've seen you before, but welcome and nice to meet you. Cedric was his name. Thank you. I couldn't remember. The puppy gate was a weird situation. It was a weird situation.
Does Cedric have a last name? I want to look him up.
I know we met him as Cedric on the show, and then he kind of went. He talked a little bit online back then, but social media wasn't what it was. I'm not sure if he has a last name. If anybody knows Cedric last name, Whitney, let us know. Let us know. Lord help us. But see, that's how you know Lisa got more to give. We could talk about Lisa longer than we could talk about these heifers from this doggone episode. That's a damn shame. That's a damn shame. Yes, welcome in. Anybody new watching, new subscribers, all of those things. Everybody's welcome. Safe space to comment your opinions and all of those good things. I think the little 5 minutes of fame went to his head. I don't know what he did, but he was excommunicated from the palace. Not excommunicated from the palace. That house was big as hell, though. It was that. Yes, like the video if you haven't already. I do appreciate y'all. Lord, let's get back into this episode. She said excommunicated. So Erica Girardi comes in, and I was cracking up at Erica. Erica was actually a vibe. She's excited. She's like, it's the 4th of July. She can have her hot dog. Like, she's excited. She wants barbecue and a good time. And Erica's confused, and she sees that Sutton is leaving, and the ladies start to getting it. Erica really did run off away from these heifers to go find her a hot dog. And I'm not mad at her for it. She's had, if you have as much controversy as Erica, get your hot dog, go sit in the corner and be quiet and be still. Eat your food, because finally we're not talking about you and your shady ass husband. That's all I'm gonna say to Erica. So I say let her have Cedric Martinez. She had the name.
Thank you, Whitney. Appreciate you. I'm Googling him now.
Lord help us. But she did want that hot dog so bad. She wanted that hot dog so bad. She left them And I think James will agree with me. We are the friends where if you invite us somewhere, no matter what is happening, how drunk others get, how drunk we get, we will eat and we will finish our plate.
Absolutely. That's the
So,
first thing I'm looking forward to is the food because I'm judging you.
yeah, I'm judging you.
I really am. I am judging you by your food. I really am. I'm gonna eat one plate. I'm gonna take a spoonful of everything, and it better be good because I'm telling you, if you don't see me get seconds, you know it wasn't good.
You done fucked up the church's money.
Yeah.
And in that order, yeah.
Hmm.
I'm weird at eating in public. Shout out to my best friend Leona. She be annoyed with me in public. Like, cause she'll invite me places. She's more extroverted. And she always invite me somewhere where somebody think they can cook and they can't. I remember one time somebody gave us a pot roast and we couldn't even cut the roast. When I tell you her mama had to hold the pan while me and her sister was trying our hardest to cut that fucking roast, it wouldn't cut for nothing. I said, "Oh God, I don't even think a Cutco knife would have worked. It would
I
cut
would
for
have said, okay, so the fact that I can't cut it means I can't chew it. So that
Yep."
means give me
And Leona told me I was rude. She said, "You not gonna eat it? You gonna help these people cut it and not take a bite?" Absolutely
absolutely
not. I
no.
know the limits of my
Listen,
digestion.
I need all 150 of my teeth. I'm sorry, I can't do
Okay, okay. Stole that man's hot dog with pickles and everything. Erica sure did. Oh, Ariana read Raquel. Raquel got red, so she got red down so good she had to go to rehab and talk about it. She, but she deserved it. That was some messy shit. Even my husband was invested in Scandival. I couldn't believe it. I said, God damn it, but I'm not surprised. Never trust a man that flat irons his hair and wears makeup regularly for no reason to work at a restaurant. Tom. James ain't lying. That food better make me smack my lips and get a plate to go.
that. I'm trying to tell you.
We all know that Dorit didn't cook none of that food. She had the event catered and most likely from an upscale.
Which I don't get. Barbecue is not that hard to do. You
They didn't
literally,
even do the hot dog right. Did you see when Erica got her hot dog? It still looked like the same color it'd be when you get it out the pack.
yes, I saw
Where's
that.
the char from the grill?
Maybe they steamed them.
My husband
She,
in the background talking about they probably put it in the microwave. I
you know,
can't.
yeah, you know they steam. You know how the I don't know if they do that in the Bay. I've seen it in LA and I've seen it here in Phoenix where sometimes they'll steam the hot dogs
At
because
Casper's, they'll have it sitting in like the boiled water or over it, but it don't be the same color as when it come out the
no, I'm
pack.
just saying sometimes when you steam them they still be the same color is what I'm saying.
Child, who the fuck is steaming?
That's why
Only
I said
way
I
I
think
get
she
to steaming
steamed.
a hot dog is if I
I
throw a
feel like
ball
she
pot
only
frame
grilled
on
the
the stove.
hamburgers. I feel like the hot dog Shay steamed them. I promise you they steamed them.
Who's eating?
Because sometimes kids don't like the burnt. It wasn't me. I wasn't allowed to be that kid in my house. My mama said that ain't no burnt. That's grilled. So that's what I'm saying.
Jesus, Lord help us. She said her man is gone. Who gonna cook it? Jagger. Naya.
She can be out there on the grill.
I don't understand that. I know how to grill. I just don't like setting the fire with the coals. I
Girl,
don't like doing that part.
You really think Dorit got a charcoal grill out there? Dorit got one of them propane tanks. Come on now.
That's even easier. That's the damn stove
Yeah.
outside. I'm thinking she got the coals. It tastes
No,
better
she
too.
ain't got no coals. Girl, now, if this was Garcelle or Bose, then yes, they got charcoal grills. I am sure of it. But this is Dorit we talking about. She ain't got no damn charcoal grill.
I can't stand y'all. I cannot. Said the robbers on payroll allegedly, not hashtag F them kids. If Naya, if the hot dog is boiled, it has to come from the dirty hot dog man cart on the corner. She's from Shanny. You're in New York, right? I have
Yeah, I
been to
believe
New
so.
York a few times, and I will say that I do always see at the cart them hot dogs sitting in that water that looks shady, but they be really affordable and delicious. And I will challenge a New
See,
York carted hot dog to Costco's. They be good.
no, see, I'm more into getting the one from Vegas on the corner because I'm telling you, they be having the grilled onions and stuff. I'm like, yes, I will take two. And I don't even like hot dogs. I hate hot dogs.
I hate
So,
them, but if I'm drunk and I see them people with the cart and the peppers and I be
Vegas, yes, you be walking up to the mall or Caesars, they be right there. They be like, "Oh, we take Zelle too, so don't act like you ain't got no money."
Naya is I'm sorry, I love me a burnt hot dog, not blacker than me, but burnt. I hate I cannot.
I hate
I
y'all.
Naya. We love Naya. That's the
We
thing.
love you, Naya. I love you so much. I do.
She,
That
I
was funny,
cannot. With that, Naya and Shani in the chat will keep us well entertained.
right?
Now, let me get back to these people. Sutton finally left, but she read Dorit for filth in her confessional. She read her for filth just because you miserable and you don't have money and you hoping for. I said, Sutton, you I get that you're upset with Dorit, but I don't feel like what Dorit has done warrants her getting read for filth. However, I love Sutton, and this is why. Because when Sutton is mad, she don't care. And looking at Garcelle's face when Sutton was trying to leave, Garcelle's like, Sutton is mad. I've not seen her like this. I have seen her like this. She gonna start saying some country off the wall shit, and I need to get my friend the hell up out of here. That's what it gave to me. But Sutton does eventually leave, and I was glad. Garcelle then mentions when they go back out, they finally all go back around Dorit. And Garcelle mentions because they're like, well, why did Sutton leave? And Garcelle was like, she didn't feel welcome. Bitch. Like, what? That's me. If James leave an event or anybody I care about leave an event because they feel disrespected and I'm still there, that's what you're supposed to do. Exactly what Garcelle did. She didn't feel welcome. And Dorit then mentions, well, she called me a name. She called me a bitch in my own home. And Garcelle said, yeah, well, you charged it up. And this is where Bose mentions that everybody needs to be rallying around Dorit in the spirit of sisterhood, which Sutton was trying to proclaim. And Garcelle did what I was so grateful that Garcelle could do. She looked at Bose and asked her where her spirit of sisterhood was when she was questioning them week after week, episode after episode in that doorway about what they are doing, calling them rude, sitting in the doorway. I said, oh, Lord. So Kyle then mentions that she's hurt by Bose because she heard that Bose has called her cold and has not had positive things to say about her. And this is where Bose says again, and I will give it to Bose, her story has not changed once. It has not. She says that she has had deep conversations with everybody in the group except for Kyle. And I do believe Bose about this. And I do believe that the vibes are not there between Bose and Kyle. But if you know the vibes are not there, then stop talking about this woman, be there for Dorit, and don't talk about her. You can be there for someone without engaging in them talking shit or down on somebody else. You can. You absolutely can if you think. So I wish this Bose would do that, but I will say, because Kyle was trying to tell Bose, like, you've been biased with me because you're trying to defend Dorit. I think when it comes to the rest of the group, specifically Sutton and Garcelle, I do think that Bose has not been fair and is biased with Dorit. When it comes to Kyle, I don't think that Bose is being biased. Kyle showed Bose that she's a liar, that she's not to be trusted, and that she is pretentious and more concerned with how she looks versus how she actually is. So, and Kyle is not used to that. So Kyle is like, no, this is because of Dorit. And it's not. It's really not. It's really not. So that's just my whole thing. But it annoys me because PK comes up while talking, because that is the reason Bose has an issue with Kyle, because of how Kyle is acted with the PK situation. And this is where Dorit immediately interrupts. And Kyle's like, hold on, let us talk. And Dorit is like, no, you're bringing up my life, my business. I'm going to be here. you don't live with that man no more. No one said anything about you. They mentioned PK. And in my opinion, if you don't want your friends to have a separate relationship with your spouse when you're with them or when you're not good with them, then don't encourage that. Dorit did encourage a relationship between PK and Kyle. PK and Kyle have known each other prior to Dorit. So it is a difficult situation, but I'm looking at Dorit like the girl ain't said nothing negative about you. So every time PK comes up, you have to be involved. That's unrealistic. Y'all done went and talked about Erica and Tom so many times without them and other people who split on here. It doesn't make any sense. So, in my opinion, the whole argument was dumb between Kyle and Dorit. But Kyle did better this time with handling Dorit. She did reiterate that they are both starting from scratch, and she's been trying to do that, but Dorit keeps taking them backwards. And they do end up making peace. And I just want to say that the whole time, Kathy and her outfit in that hat was funny as hell. And Erica tore up that hot dog. She ate her sides, and we saw her sipping soda. She didn't come to that barbecue for the BS. Erica Girardi in this episode was James Jackson.
She sure was. Absolutely. Except I wouldn't have ate that hot dog. I personally would have got me some off the grill, like a hamburger or something, because I'm not going to poison myself like that. But what I will say is I would have ate and not cared what any of them was talking about, not cared about what anybody was saying. I would have took my, I probably would have took me some food to go, but I would have definitely sat there and ate. I'm Erica in this scene for sure because I'm gonna eat. If I ain't gonna do nothing else at your house, I am going to eat. So if you invite me over, you better have the food and it better be right. Because if it ain't right, I'm gonna talk about you.
She said, "Girl, you are a bitch in your own home."
For real. That's why I was like, do we, go somewhere like honestly, I'm so glad she get her back. I just wish it was received better.
This Mimi with that burrito, her last
Yes,
of the hip
yes.
hop.
When I tell you, I'm always hungry. So yes, that would have been the moment for me. But I
That's
just don't feel like. I honestly, I'm gonna be real with you. I honestly don't feel like the food was good at Doritos house. I just don't feel like that at all. I just feel like Erica be hungry.
nasty.
Yeah, I just feel like Erica was hungry and just was like, you know what? I got to eat. I'm sorry. I'm gonna try the safest thing I can find.
Yeah. They should have. There's other places they could have went to that actually have good barbecue, but unfortunately, when you come to California, the only people, in my opinion, that you should trust for barbecue are going to be brown and black. That's it.
At their
That's it.
house, not at a restaurant.
Yeah, the restaurants are kind of eh.
Yeah.
Um, it's supposed to be an aesthetic and not a meal. No, there are good ass meals you can get in Hollywood. We California natives. There's some of it's an
Oh my
aesthetic, but then
goodness. Right?
there's also food that look pretty and also taste just as good as it looks.
I was gonna say yes. No, don't let that fool you. Go. I would say yeah, Hollywood. I would say there probably are like a handful, but outside of Hollywood, let me tell you, like if you go to Santa Monica, oh my gosh, like that Mexican restaurant that's off of Sunset, off the 405. I forgot what it. I think it's called Don Julio's or something like that. That Mexican food is bomb. Like I always go there. If you're going outside of LA, depends on where you at. It really does. They have good food there in LA. They do.
It's Dorit has no excuse. She's
Yeah,
surrounded
she don't.
by.
She don't. Because she could have went to hell. What's that one place?
Not find a big, thick, clear man to make some good barbecue.
No, she need to find a big thick black man to find to get her some barbecue. I would have loved to have seen that in their house.
I can't stand you. I feel like that would change her life. But
Hmm.
Lord, after the argument and this crazy barbecue, Dorit and Kyle go upstairs through her empty house. And I don't know why. I kind of feel like Dorit, in some ways, I feel like she threw and tore her house apart for the camera because I'm like, you still live there with your kids and stuff. Aside from some pictures of you and PK, like all his stuff is gone. I don't know what's going on, but her house is empty, and her and Kyle end up upstairs in the bedroom to talk, and they discuss their separations. Dorit asked Kyle, I'm not getting into everything because they said a lot with while saying a whole bunch of nothing. But Dorit asked Kyle if she would get back with Mauricio and if she wants to. Kyle can't really answer the question clearly, but states that she does not know what she wants. but she doesn't want to get back together at this time. And so then Dorit says that she feels like PK is 50 steps ahead of her and she needs to catch up. And then after they little talk, which you could tell their friendship wasn't that deep, because neither of them ever said, I'm sorry that you're going through that. That has to be difficult. The only way I could relate to you is I went through this. Yeah, well, I went through this. Yeah, well, I'm going through this and I'm going through that. So I don't feel their friendship was as deep as they made it seem just on how they talked at the end of this. But we see that a week later, after the filming, I guess, of this episode and that little scene where they talk, it comes out that Mauricio was seen kissing another woman skiing abroad, which I remember seeing. But I'm just like, Kyle, you talking about you don't know? I'm y'all not gonna like me, but I'm gonna call a spade a spade. In my opinion, I feel like Kyle has been with her husband for 20 something years. He was playing with her probably in some way she don't want to talk about. She got sick of it and thought, I'm gonna leave him and he'll get it together. Just for her to leave and go play around, her situations didn't work out. Now Mauricio kisses somebody else. I feel like she want him back, but he's not in a space to want to be back with her. So that's my opinion. It could be something different. Because Kyle, you questioning it, you say he don't want a divorce, but then he's running around kissing on other people, knowing that he's being followed by the tabloids. And this man just recently, side note, broke his clavicle or something. He just had surgery. So he doesn't seem too interested in Kyle anymore. He seems more interested in the idea of their marriage and their family. But if you took the kids out, I don't know that he want to deal with her no more either. So that's my take on it. James, how'd you feel about that last scene and the talk in their relationships?
Um, See, here's the thing. I like that they did have this conversation because it shows where they are like mentally and their separations with each other. I feel like for me, I feel like Dorit does not want PK to divorce her for some reason. I feel like she's still holding on to whatever it is, and he's just completely checked out. With Kyle and Mauricio, I feel like Kyle would take him back in a heartbeat. I feel like Mauricio, and as I told you, and I've said this before, I feel like he's getting the freedom he never had. And sometimes when you get the freedom that you never had, you tend to want more. And the things that happened before you got the freedom tend to take a back seat until you figure out that that's probably where you need to be. But I think he's enjoying himself. I don't think he's ready for Kyle. I don't think he's ready to go back to her. I just don't.
Their kids are grown. And, Kyle is trying to make us feel bad for her and her separation, but a lot of people get separated and things change in the dynamic of their family. All of Kyle's children are grown, and her oldest child just turned 17, I believe. So, or her youngest child just turned 17. So her kids aren't as dependent on her for like the time and stuff as they would be when they were younger. They probably just call her here and there for money, and they may not even need that from her. But Kyle also has a man who, even through the separation, has done things at her speed, done everything that she's asked about. And he is finding a way to still make time for his children. He may not see Kyle every day, but he sees his kids every day because we know that 3 out of their 4 children work for the agency. So I think Mauricio is seeing he can have his wife and also live his life and enjoy things. And yeah, not she tried to taste the rainbow and couldn't handle the scrutiny. I don't even think she wanted to do that.
I don't think
feel
she
like
did
she
either.
wanted to make him jealous. I feel like they're separating because of some form of infidelity.
I do
That's just
too.
my opinion. And it seems like she stepped out to like show him I can do bad too. But in the end, he was like, okay,
Yeah,
let me show you why I was cheating, bitch. I don't care. Bye. That's what I
exactly. That's exactly how I feel too. I feel like, you know what? She tried to separate it, teach him a lesson, like I could be gone, and he said, so can I. And I'm gonna do exactly what I want to do with this newfound freedom, and that's what he's doing. That's why I said I don't feel like he would take her back right away. I feel like throughout some time they could get back together after he didn't, ran out the gas in this truck. But
I don't think they could. I think for some reason, I agree that she would go running back to him. That's why I have this comment up, but I just can't see them getting back to that space. I just don't think he wants that. I don't think he will end up wanting it, because we have to remember what comes with Kyle comes with the Hiltons. And I recapped Buying Beverly Hills. He do not like them people. So, we will see. We will see what happens. But that was all, you guys, that happened in this episode of Housewives of Beverly Hills. I appreciate everybody for being here and putting up with myself and James. We just did 3 lives in a row. 3 hours are gone, but I had fun. I appreciated everyone who is here. If you're watching our live replay when we are no longer live, shout out to y'all, Thug Life. We appreciate y'all. Shout out to Naya, our thugging cousin. Thug Life, everybody. I do got it tatted on me, so say it to someone. It's a positive thing. Shout out to Shani, as well as Whitney. I believe she was in here somewhere. And DM Rocks. I appreciate everybody for being here, commenting, all those good things. Check the link in the description for James's channel. The next live will be on James's channel, I think. Right?
we're going to put together something.
Is Love and Marriage gone?
Love and Marriage Huntsville is gone. Yeah, so Love and Marriage Huntsville is done.
Married to Medicine and Housewives.
So I'm putting together a live where I'm going to do the Married to Medicine reunion looks if I get a hold of them. And I also am going to do, it's going to be like an unpopular opinion because Phaedra did not come to the reunion as I thought she would. So yeah, be on the lookout for that.
All right. We'll be on the lookout for James's channel. But other than that, we hope y'all enjoyed the rest of your week and weekend. And we will see you on the next live. If there's a show you want myself or James to cover, send either of us a DM, drop an email, a comment, all of those good things. Thank you to you, Shani. Thank you, guys. And we'll see you on the next one. Good night.
Good night.